everyone, Kevin here. Thanks for watching this video. Well, we're here in Las Vegas for the 2021 SEMA Show, and I'll tell you, we had a year off, and we're in full swing already. There's a ton of new vehicles that are out that we haven't seen before, brand new builds and everything. But I wanted to show you guys some of the rides that I thought were a little bit more unique. So yeah, follow along. One of the most unique vehicles that we've seen here is this K5 Tahoe creation that's made by Flat Out Autos. And if you guys are familiar with our Instagram page, in 2019 at the SEMA Show, we posted a video about a four-door Tahoe that was converted just like this vehicle. And basically what they were doing is taking a modern vehicle, Tahoe, Chevy Tahoe, and putting old sheet metal on it and just basically making it look like a classic vehicle. But just having all the modern conveniences of a new Tahoe. I think they stepped up their game a little bit and made a two-door version of it, which kind of looks like a Blazer, though they call it the K5 Tahoe. So let's take a look at it and just show you kind of a little bit around. They were telling me that they reskinned the sides and everything, so the front sheet metal might be repop stuff that they're able to make fit. They're custom making a piece right here to just blend everything together. So a lot of little trick little pieces here. Got custom door handles as well. But as we open it up, we look inside. I mean, it's completely new, brand new. So it's like a brand new SUV. We got some houndstooth inserts in here, so that makes it kind of look a little bit classic. But man, it's cool. I mean, you can hop into a vehicle like this, have the classic look, but really have the modern conveniences and everything. So it's kind of the best of all these worlds combined together. You can see some of the work here that makes it all possible here, some of the sheet metal work they've been doing. And if we go down to the doors and stuff, we can see how finely this is done. I mean, this is not just a vehicle that you're slapping on a bunch of parts on. It's really got some detail to it. So let's close that up here. And then if we go to the back, you'll really get to see how new school this vehicle is. We'll just press a button here and voila. How's that for convenience? So yeah, we got all the seating back here too, so we can put the seats down flat, get all our cargo space just like a newer vehicle. We'll pull that back up, and then yeah, we'll pull back and then just press the button and everything goes all back together. So there you have it. Really cool piece. I think these are around $150,000. So you kind of got to step up your game if you want one of these. But if you're going to, build a classic vehicle to the depth of this and have all these things, a modern engine and some of the interior work and everything that you would expect on a high level build, you're going to be in that price range anyways. This just makes it easier. It just makes it convenient where you can drive it every day. So yeah, really cool build, something a little bit unique. And these guys are knocking these things out. So and they're not not some small time players. So yeah, cool to see something like this. All right, as I walk around the SEMA Show this year, there's one thing that I've noticed is people are getting innovative with where they're getting their power supply from, or engines, or what they're doing to power their vehicles. And I've got a vehicle behind me that's actually an electric vehicle, and that's been very popular at the show. But we have Rob here. He's with Legacy EV, and he can tell us a little bit more. Tell me a little bit more about the motor on this thing. One thing I noticed is that there's no engine up front or in back or anything. It's like all hidden, right?
It's hidden. Yeah, so on this build, Old Town Auto put the dual Hyper 9 motors in the trans tunnel, and then there's a 1.9 to 1 gear reduction box to the driveline, which mates directly up to the rear end.
And so what kind of range are you getting out of this, and what kind of power as well?
Yeah, this is 300 horsepower, about 450 foot-pounds of torque, and it gets about a 220 mile range.
That's pretty far, man. So, I mean, you can take it on a little bit of a drive and not have to worry about it. Now, what about plugging it in? Like, you have to go to a certain station or something, or can you,
no, there's
an outlet
adapters.
or something?
Yeah. So, standard charging, you know, you put an adapter at home, it's 30 amp plug, and then have the ability to adapt to hook up to one of the Tesla charging stations.
That's pretty sweet. And I know, I mean, at least for me, electric, I was not sold on it at first. One thing that really got me is the potential for power and like instant power that you can have, right? I mean, how much you can get on this thing right away and it just goes, right?
Yeah. So you have the torque everywhere in the power curve. So yeah, you get in one of these things and you got it geared right, and you step on it, it'll put you back in your seat, and where you're used to your power band tapering off and kind of going forward, you don't fall forward. You just keep going back. So it's a great feeling.
So one thing, yeah, I did notice about with some of the electric vehicles that are out is that like battery space taking up a lot of room. There was a high-profile vehicle that was at the last SEMA show, and it basically took the whole bed was all battery, and you've hid that a little bit, right?
Yeah, so we've got a few vehicles here in our booth, all of which we've been able to get to the range requirement that the customer had without having to disrupt the integrity of the interior. So we can put battery boxes where the old gas tank was. And trucks, especially trucks that are built like classic trucks for showing, people are used to C-notching and getting air ride and getting these things down on the ground, and it's been a while since they've seen a full bed anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
To throw this box up front of it, it's almost like a stereo subwoofer box, up in the front, and that holds 14 Tesla modules in this truck. And that is the complete power pack for it. We're working on our own Legacy EV modules. Those are what are in the Bronco, and we have 8 battery packs in that, and still haven't had to disrupt the integrity of the interior.
So truck is really cool, but my question is, if somebody wants to do this conversion, how would they go about making that all happen?
Yeah, totally. This is my favorite part of the conversation. So. Legacy EV, our company, we sit as a parts distributor and an educator, and our goal is to connect the manufacturer of all the components that are in here with the installer, and we do that through our integration of the parts and education platform. So if you have a shop, or even if you just want to do this in your garage, check us out at legacyev.com. You can go to the education tab. You'll find our Legacy platform there, our education platform there. And yeah, our goal is to support any shop that wants to move into the e-mobility and help them build.
Yeah, super cool, and super cool to see something innovative like this. But yeah, thanks for showing us the truck, man.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the coolest rides we've seen here is a 56 Chevy built by our friends at Customs by Lopez. And we have Ricardo, he runs the shop, he's here. He could tell us a little bit more about this truck. It was built for your wife, right?
Yes, we built this truck for Monica, and we named it Monique. This is a 56 Chevy truck. We did a lot of good tricks in it. We have a 383 structure with a 350 transmission. We went with Ride-Tech suspension, front and back coilovers. We got MagnaFlow system. We have bare brakes. Interior was done at the house, in the shop. We also have the bedwood, one of my favorite parts, tailgate. I mean, all made at the shop.
Yeah, tell me more a little bit about the engine. I know it's just a 383, just a small block, but you got some goodies on there, right?
Yes, yeah. Well, on the 383, we have the headers from Headman Headers. We have the Eddie Motorsport pulley kit. We have the hood hinges, Eddie Motorsports, US radiators, aluminum radiator, intake, fuel injection, that's Phytech.
All right, now I like the stance. It's slammed, it's just a couple inches off the ground, but yet it's on coilover, so it's performance minded. But what do you got for your wheel and tire setup?
Well, we have body wheels. We have 19s in the front by 8. We have 20s by 12 in the back. along with the needle tires.
Yeah, I think you got the drag radials on there, right? So
Yes.
it'll hook up definitely. So yeah, I know your specialty is paint and body. So what do you got going on for body mods on this thing?
Well, we did a lot of modifications, starting with the King Digger door handles. We went with the finish some details that GM didn't finish back in the days, like the bedside rails, smooth the step panels. We talk in the back bumper. We integrate the roll pan. We kind of finished the this bedside panel here. We did the wind. That's all metal work. That's done by one of my guys, Manuel Lopez. Tailgate, my favorite part. I love the tailgate, the way it came out, the way we built the third brake light. It's all aluminum billet. I mean, it's starting from nothing. That's what we have right now.
Cool. It looks good, man. I hope your wife enjoys it. So thanks for taking a few moments and showing me around, man. All right, so cruising around the show this year, so we skipped last year and everything, so it seems as if electric is everywhere now. It wasn't a thing when we were here 2 years ago, but it's all over the place. But I think I have something here, a project that's a little bit of an alternative to electric that could be a way of the future. We have Mike here. He's with this truck here at the Redline booth, and maybe he could tell us a little bit more about how it's powered.
Okay, so this is a 48 Chevy pickup truck. It has a LS-based 6.2 that's supercharged, and it runs on hydrogen.
So how does that work? Is that a conversion, or just how did you make that happen?
Well, it's a package that we developed along with our partners at Bosch, and but we have a complete hydrogen fuel system. We've made some modifications to this engine to make it more durable and let us push the boundaries a little on calibration and things while we learn. But the goal is that it would be able to be installed on any production-based internal combustion engine. So
and so that's zero emission coming out of it and everything, but you can keep your combustion engine. What's the range like on it, and how far can we get on what you have on the setup?
Okay, so yes, it's emission-free. So there's no hydrocarbons, there's no carbon monoxide. The only output of the tailpipes is a little bit of N2O, a very minuscule amount, and water. Those are the byproducts of burning hydrogen. So we inject them into the engine. We have 16 fuel injectors. They're computer controlled on time, and so we inject the hydrogen into the port, and then it goes into the cylinder through the valve, and then it's burned. So we extract the energy that way. We currently have a tank. Tanks, you have to build the tanks, but we have one that's more universal in its nature. It holds 2.54 kilograms of hydrogen. So if you equate that across, it's about equal to a 15-gallon fuel tank. So at this point in our development, we have about 3 hours of run time on that 2.54 kilograms.
Oh, gotcha. And that could be increased, I guess, if you make a bigger tank as well?
Or we can raise the pressure. So hydrogen is stored in a gaseous state. So we run at 350 bar, which is 5,070 PSI roughly. Most hydrogen fuel cell cars, where they use the hydrogen to create electricity, they run at 700 bar, which is 10,001, just about 10,150 pounds of pressure. We can go that high. We chose not to right now. There's some other systems that you have to support that to fuel them, and if we can keep it more simple, that's what we want to do. But with development, I mean, find a 500 horsepower supercharged engine running on gasoline, and I think we're comparable or a little better in fuel economy. Cost-wise, the comparison between hydrogen and gasoline, in California, gasoline comes in at about, well, nowadays it's about $5 a gallon or more.
If you're lucky, maybe.
Isn't it? But hydrogen is basically in about $16 a kilogram. So if you break that down, it works out to about $3 a gallon.
Oh, wow. I guess the only point, I guess now is like supply and where you would get it.
Sure.
And making that available.
Yeah, right now there's about 47 commercial fill stations across California. There's just was an announcement that they're adding 40 more. So that'll take them to about 100 stations across California. hydrogen has been being worked on for decades, right? But in particular, with like us proving that it works and it runs and it does everything it's supposed to do, it's safe. There's a lot of discussion in the oil companies and a lot of things. It's stronger in Europe than it is here in the U.S., but they're starting to put a lot of stations across Europe with it. You can expect that same to come to the U.S.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, very exciting stuff here. I like that we have an alternative fuel that hopefully gets supported a little bit later on. Better option, though. I do like how some of the stuff with electric and some of the instant torque and all that stuff that you get, but this might seem like a better option. So, yeah, thanks for making time and showing us around.
Oh, happy to do it. And by the way, it still sounds like a V8.
Exactly. All right, as you guys know, we've been working a little bit with the Banks crew on their 66 Chevy C20 called LokJaw, and we're here at the SEMA Show, and they finally actually got it done, or pretty much together. And we have Eric. He's the what was it again?
I'm prototype engineer.
There we go.
And for the past year, this has been my labor of love. It's been an after-hours project up until about 2 weeks ago. We realized where we stood on the progress and rallied the troops, but I mean, seeing it here after all we've done to it, I'm so excited to just show people what's been done. And I mean, we can jump right into it in the front. I mean, there's so much to see here. The more you look, the better it gets.
I mean, this is the most exciting part too.
Yeah,
and it's so well dressed too as well.
Yeah, and seeing it all come together at the last minute and all the guys coming through, it looks great. And it's kind of the predecessor to what we're launching next year, which is our crate engine program. We're looking to do about Q3. But yeah, all of this right now is one-off. Matt Gamble, our manager of design, had a blast designing all these parts and all the craziness going up front. So you can see the one-off billet 3.8 Whipple. They also went and machined us this piece that we designed, front drive, front intakes. So we got dual velocity stacks out front up into our production L5P air boxes into 5-inch intakes. And then we brought in Dragos from Candela Manufacturing and just absolutely knocked it out of the park on the headers. Sean from Empire Fab was a huge help. He did all the sheet metal, so the tubs, the firewall, the overlays, the rear tubs, and then of course the big one that stands out, or everything opens up in reverse. So Matt also went through and did a custom 6-bar linkage that's spring assisted. So we tested it out for the first time about 10 minutes ago with one guy, and we can't open this up solo. But yeah, this is a 2021 L5P Duramax. It doesn't look it anymore. It's a little beautified. But yeah, right off the assembly line from our Banks Tech sister company that's making these for our JLTV program. So we took it, stripped it down, put in a comp cam special grind for the 3.8. Got a crazy intake manifold one off from Kibby Tech. They helped us out with the machining. As moving on to the interior, you can see our Motec ECU mount in what was the glove box. We've got the display coupled with 4 of our own iDashes for all your data logging and parameters. You can see Spark Industries, he did the wheels as well. We can touch on that in a minute. But TMI did the interior. Jay and I were a little nervous about the coloring, doing it last minute, hoping that it matched, and it turned out great.
And it's a bit high tech under there, so I mean, like, yeah, you're looking at everything. I mean, like when it's all closed up, I mean, it's a patina truck, but then
yeah, and you can't even see. And with all that, it kind of takes away from the fact that there is Allison 1000 in there. And when I made the firewall cut, I just kept going and going, and we dropped it on with no sheet metal anymore. And you're practically sitting on the Allison. It's a huge transmission.
It's almost like drag racing with like a rear end between your
and
your
we went to Clint at ATS because QA1 only does one piece. There was no internal slip, so we had to go to Clint ATS, and he made us a custom tail shaft housing with an internal slip adapter, and we put that thing on a few days ago, and it worked out great. So then moving on to the bed, this is kind of the crazy open piece here. So this is all, the truck is 100% in SolidWorks, and so Matt would design a lot of these sheet metal assemblies, and I would take it, plasma cut it, fixture it, weld it, and we ended up with this crazy piece that was split, same 6-bar linkage out in the rear, so the tailgate comes up and out, just barely off the ground, so that the whole bed's floating up. And then a joke on me is that I called the plywood that the truck had the original bed. So the guys put plywood back in there, and we tested out the hinge assembly in the rear for the first time the other day, and seeing it all together like this is just, I couldn't be happier. And the wheels, of course, it's slammed out. These things are insane, but Jonathan from Spark Industries killed it. We wanted a functional wheel, So we were looking at 8-lug and turbofan and everything. We ended up on this fin design that's made to draw air out from the inside, and we saw them, saw how beautiful they were, and immediately went out for clear Cerakote. And I put gloves on when I installed them the other morning because I just didn't want to dirty up these things. But
those must have been a beast to cut out.
Yeah,
I mean,
he told me 20 hours per wheel, 20
Jeez.
hours. So
It's very intricate.
So he crushed it on the program. But yeah, I mean, seeing it all come together like this, it's a lot of great brands, great guys on board, and I couldn't be happier with where we're at. So firing it up pretty soon here in a few days and get on the dyno, and I can't wait to hear this thing. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, this thing is rad. I mean, just looking at it, yeah, I'd love to hear it too, and maybe riding it or something, man, because it's unlike anything else.
Yeah,
so
we can make that happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for showing me around and everything.
Absolutely. Glad to.
All right, guys, it's pretty late, and I am pretty tired. And if you're wondering why I'm at the SEMA Show so late, well, it's to get beautiful shots of all the vehicles while they're here and post them up on my Instagram page. So, yeah, you guys seem to like it a lot, so I don't mind it. While everybody's partying, I'm taking shots and doing work out here, but that's all right. Hope you guys liked all the rides I was able to show and everything. Couldn't get them all in, so I'm sorry about that. As you can see, I've got John Oro's Prom Queen Blazer behind me, and I don't want to blow it too much because I've got to shoot when we get back to LA area, and we're gonna do something special with that, so look forward to that. And yeah, hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button, and if you have anything to say about some of the vehicles we showed or had any questions about those things, put it in the comment section below. And also, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a future video, and turn on post notifications. And remember, stay fuelish.